I'm a survivor of rape. A man had pretended to be my friend for 2 years, specifically so he could sexually assault me at his house. The assault happened the weekend of February 21st, 2025. I went to the authorities and tried to hold him accountable through the judicial system. And when a crime has occurred, where justice is predicated on the perpetrator telling the truth, the perpetrator would never implicate himself, even though the crime did occur. The state of Wisconsin did place me with a trauma specialist, but I wouldn't be assigned with a trauma specialist until June of 2025. In the interim, I reached out to my community for support, a community that my perpetrator can't lay a finger on, thank God, as far as the smear campaign goes. I digress. The elders in the pagan community of southeast Wisconsin put me in touch with a pagan church out in Athens, Wisconsin. The pagan church is called Deeply Rooted. So I was lucky enough to be under the supervision of a pagan pastor for the couple months in between, it was more like 3 months in between reporting the assault and the state of Wisconsin finally placing me with a trauma specialist. And this pastor was incredibly helpful. They coached me through a lot of what I have endured. Now, the man who assaulted me, like I said, he pretended to be my friend for a couple of years before he actually assaulted me. One of our commonalities within the friendship was an interest in witchcraft and the occult. So there is a lot of overlap and intersectionality between the grooming and sexual abuse that I had endured and spirituality. But one of the things this pastor tried to coach me through is the fact that my assailant is a black hole. And what do they mean by that? What they meant was exactly like how you try to force together two opposing sides of a magnet, right? And they repel each other. That's how my assailant is with accountability. That no matter what I do, there is nothing I can do to force him to take accountability for what he's done. This wasn't a stranger that assaulted me. I knew him. I knew him very well. And I considered him a good friend. And back then, it was something that I cognitively understood. The fact that he was a black hole. But then in doing shadow work and working with trauma and also releasing any shame that I might have imposed upon myself, because what he did to me was entirely his doing and entirely his fault. I didn't let this happen to me on any level. So that took some work to come to accept. So with trauma and healing from it, it's almost like you have to take out each individual memory, kind of like a file folder, examine it, write in new information as you're healing, and then refile it again. So cognitively, I accept the fact that my assailant is a black hole and will never take accountability. Because once he takes accountability, that means that there will be justice for me. But I have to figure out my own justice for myself. And it still makes me sick to think about how he felt so proud and accomplished in hurting me in the dark. He smirked at me when he realized that it landed what a terrible thing he did to hurt me. And what did he do? He confused me on purpose. Leading up to the assault, he lied to me and told me that I was loved and safe and that he missed me and that he wanted me to come over. But the only reason why he wanted me over to his house was so he could completely disparage the sanctity around sexuality. Once again, there's a lot of spiritual intersectionality to all of this. He wanted to absolutely destroy the feminine energy within me, the feminine energy of vulnerability and receptivity and connection. He wanted to absolutely destroy that. And I'm not really sure what my point is with all this, but if I learned anything, it's the true meaning of how much men really hate women. Men hate women to the nth degree, to the point where they will pretend to be your friend, not only to sexually exploit you, but to absolutely hurt you in the process, because they like it, because they like hurting women. Like, I can cognitively understand it, but on another level, I can't understand it at all. So the only thing that I can do is get up on here and tell women to avoid men at all costs. A man approached you wanting you to be his friend, do not ever speak to him. 80 to 90% of the time, he wants to fucking hurt you. The other 10 to 20% of the time, he wants something out of you. Men do not see women as complete sovereign human beings, and men really hate women very deeply. And I guess that's my point.